Okay, today we're looking at lesson 2.2, divide by one-digit divisors. How do you solve and check division problems? Now, yesterday we divided by one-digit divisors. I believe that you have been dividing by one-digit divisors since about 3rd grade. Does that sound right? So that shouldn't have been anything new to you. Well, today you're going to still divide by one-digit divisors. Sometimes you're going to divide into numbers that are in the hundreds, it looks like. And you're going to have to check your answer. What do you think you'll have to do to check your answer? What's the inverse operation of division? Multiplication. So you're going to multiply your divisor, or not, your divisor and your quotient to get your dividend. Okay, here we go. You should be at the top of page 65. Jenna's family is planning a trip to Oceanside, California. They will begin their trip in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and will travel 2,754 miles over 9 days. If the family travels an equal number of miles every day, how far will they travel each day? So we're going to divide into the thousands. I glanced at your homework, and I don't think I see any that are in the, oh, there's one on the back page, in the thousands. Most of them are in the hundreds. Use the estimate to place the first digit in the quotient. So they rounded 2,754 to 2,700. Why? We're dividing by 9. Why would you round it to 2,700?
Because 2,754 is
Okay, but why would we choose 2,700? Right, 9 goes evenly into 27. So how many 9s are there in 27? 3. And then we have to do what? You have to bring up in your zeros. So it should be about 300. The first digit of the quotient is in what place? What place is this? What place value? 100. So the first digit of the quotient is going to be in the hundreds. Okay, step 2. Divide the hundreds. 9 will not go into the thousands, right? We can't take 2 and divide it into 9 groups. So we're going to put our little X. Now, we already discussed this during our estimate that 3 times 9 was 27, so we can place our 3. And we can put our 27 here and subtract, and we're going to get zeros, right? So what do we do next? We bring down the 5, okay? Now, can we take 5 and divide it, distribute it evenly into 9 groups?
No.
It's too small, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay? So we're going to put a 0 up here because we can't divide into that 5. And we're going to put a 0 here and we're going to subtract. Then we're going to bring down our 4. Now we got a different number, 54. Can anybody tell me how many 9s are in 54? 6. And what is 6 times 9, Cheyenne? It is exactly 54. So in this one, do we have a remainder?
No.
No. Since blank is close, since 306 is close to the estimate of 300, the answer is reasonable. So Jenna's family will travel 306 miles each day. Okay, now we're on page 66 under example. It says to check your answer to a division problem, multiply the quotient by the divisor. If there is a remainder, add it to the product. The result should equal the dividend. And like we talked earlier, division and multiplication are inverse operations. Inverse operations are opposite operations that undo each other. You can use multiplication to check your answer to a division problem. Okay? So we have 614 divided by 6. They work through it. They got 102, remainder 2. So they took their quotient, that's this part right here, and they multiplied it by their divisor. So what is 2 times 6? 12. Regroup a 1. 6 times 0 is, plus 1 is, and 6 times 1 is. Then we have to add that remainder. That's what people forget. When I have people come up, kids come up and ask me, they say, I can't get this to come out. Well, a lot of times they have forgotten to do their, they've multiplied, but they have forgotten to add that remainder on. Since the result of the check is equal to the dividend, so here it is, 614, and that's equal to 614. So 614 divided by 6 is 102, remainder 2. Does anybody have any questions? You're going to do the quotient times the divisor. Once you get that product, you're going to add the remainder. Okay, here we are on the try this. About halfway down, page 66. It says, find the unknown number by finding the value of n in a related equation. This is no different than if you had n equals 7 plus 2. What would n be? 9, right? So here we go. We don't know the dividend, but we do know that the divisor is 7 and the quotient is 63. So how can we find what goes under there? We can multiply them together just like we did to multiply to check a while ago. So 63 times 7 . 441. Multiply the divisor and the quotient. N is equal to 441. Now, in this one, we don't know what the remainder is. So we're going to still have to multiply our divisor and our quotient. So 125 times 6. You should always put the number with the most digits on top. Okay, so 6 times 5 is? Regroup the 3. 6 times 2 is? Plus 3 more is?
15.
Regroup the 1. And 6 times 1 is?
6.
Plus 1 more is?
7.
So now we have 750. What do we need to get our remainder there? We're going to have to take our dividend, 752, and subtract what we got when we multiplied. And that is our remainder. So some of you didn't have to write that down. In this problem, you didn't have to write it down. In other problems, you may need to write it down. So what number added to 750 equals 752 is 2. Okay, now we're on page 67 on the Sharon Show, and we're going to look at number 1. It says divide and check your answers. So you're going to do your division problem, then you're going to do your multiplication problem. So you're going to have to do this on your homework. I should see a division problem and a multiplication problem. I had a girl one year who was having trouble with division. And she kept getting little things wrong. And so she wasn't doing very well. And she said, Mrs. Stegman, what can I do to make sure I'm getting this right? And I just looked at her and I said, what did we learn a couple days ago? To multiply to check. And so she started multiplying to check. And sure enough, she started doing better. Okay, so here we go. We're going to do this first one together. 624 divided by 8. Can you share 600s among 8? No. So you're going to put your little X. Now, can you share 62 among 8?
Yes.
How many times?
7.
And what is that?
56.
56. So we're going to say a 7, and we're going to say 56. And we're going to do our subtraction. We're going to have to do a little regrouping here. So 12 minus 6 is?
6.
We're going to have to bring down our 4. How many 8s in 64? 8. And 8 times 8 is? 64. So we're done. So there's no remainder.
Yeah.
So now I've done my division. Now I'm going to multiply to check. So I'm going to say 78 times 8. And what should I get?
624.
Is it important that you actually do the multiplication, that you don't just write down 624? Yes. So we said 8 times 8 is 64. And 8 times 7 is 56. Plus 6 is 62. Is our product the same as our dividend?
Yes.
Okay. This is number 2. I want you to stop your recording, and I want you to do the division and the multiplication, and then come back and check. All right, let's do our division. 4 divided into 3,220. Will 4 go into 3? Can 3 be divided evenly among 4 groups?
No.
No. Can 32 be divided among 4 groups? Yes. How many times?
8.
8. And 4 times 8 is?
32.
Okay, so we have 0. We're going to bring down our 2. Can 2 be divided equally among 4 groups? No. So we're going to have to put a 0 up here. We're going to have to subtract a 0, and we're going to bring down our 0. Can 20 be divided among 4 groups?
No.
How many will be in each group? 5. So we get 0. Okay, now we've got to multiply to check. So we're going to take our quotient times our divisor. 5 times 4 is? Regroup of 2. 4 times 0 is?
0.
Plus 2 is? And 4 times 8 is?
32.
Is this quotient the same as our dividend?
Yes.
Yep. All right. Yep. Go ahead and move on and do number 4. So stop your recording if you're watching this at home. I apologize. That's number 3. Go ahead and do number 3. All right. Here we go. We're going to do this together. Will 4 go into 1? Can 1 be divided equally? No, it cannot. Can 10 be divided among 4 groups? Yes. We're going to have some left over, but it can't be divided, right? It goes in there twice. That leaves us 8 to subtract 2. Then we're going to bring down our 2. Can 22 be divided among 4 groups?
Yes.
How many times? 5, and that is what? 20. We're going to put a 2, and we're going to bring down our 7. Can 27 be divided among 4 groups?
Yes.
How many times?
6.
6, which is?
24.
When we subtract, we have 3 left over. So we have remainder 3. Okay, let's check this problem. 256 times 4. 4 times 6 is 24. Regroup of 2. 4 times 5 is 20. Plus 2 is 22. Regroup 2. And 4 times 2 is 8. Plus 2 is 10. Now we're off. Why are we off?
We have to
Add the remainder. So then we have 1,027, which is the same as our dividend. All right, this is number 4 on your own. So how many 6s in 9? 1. And 9 minus 6 is 3. Smaller than 6, so we know it can't be divided. 3. So we have 33. How many 6s in 33? 5. Which is what?
30.
30. We're going to subtract, and we're going to bring down our 8. How many 6s in 38?
6.
Which is? 6, which is 36. We're going to subtract and have our remainder. Okay, write your remainder up there. Then you're going to go to another, right beside it on your paper, and you're going to say 156